Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna
Okay, welcome everybody to Pancha Tattva's 20th birthday bash. 20 years since they appeared. They come. It was 20 years ago. Who was around you then? Bobski, you was around then, right?
Say again. Can't hear you. Can you turn it up?
Turn it on, you got it. Not turn it on.
You went over here.
Yeah. You're going to be one of those horns now.
This is the only good part I got.
You originally, Bob,
What?
in Pancha Tattva,
Yes, yes, so, yeah. I was about.
Okay, you translate.
Thank you. And you know.
Some things are just, even in 20 years, nothing's changed.
Yeah. Things don't.
Yeah, with Bobski, Mishwani. If anyone else was here. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, that's not else here tonight. Yeah, there's still devotees, a few around, there's lots come and go, but lots of devotees kind of helped and establish Pancha Tattva, yeah. So it's like still going 20 years. I was when we opened up, we did the Plan Pratishtha, we invited Lord Chaitanya, we did the thing, and Shiv Ramaj was here, he was giving the lecture, he was giving the talk, and then he gave me this watch. He gave me the watch on the day, and he held the watch up, and he said, every time he looks at it, it's time to go to Cardiff. That's so that's what it took us a few years, but then that's what our focus then was Cardiff, to kind of, he could never get his head around why we come to Swansea to kind of open up. He says Swansea's not a city, it's a town, it's a large town. In his mind, it's not a city. But I guess we cut our teeth on opening, going through, because we didn't have any experience with opening any temples and things like that. So we cut our teeth here. Anyway, we created a beautiful facility here. We had lots of devotees come through, and lots of devotees that we've made. So Swansea's a happy hunting ground for making devotees. The Yoga Brush, this is in the Bhagavad Gita, it's like these fallen yogis, they congregate in a certain place, you know, certain different. Swansea's definitely one of them. And lots of devotees come through from here. So I guess we was here for a reason. Anyway, we had to still glorify the Pancha Tattva. And yeah, so we'll just read a little something from the CC. Well, there's nothing out. Anyway, I guess. And different devotees can speak as well. I know they can speak for long, and then different devotees can see what Pancha Tattva, how it's affected their lives, because it's and that's the reason for Lord Chaitanya's descent, for the Pancha Tattva. When they descended, it was to distribute the holy name and spread Krishna consciousness, because that's Lord Chaitanya's mood. We're in missionary mood, so you have to kind of be in that mood to kind of following Lord Chaitanya's footsteps. And because he didn't open any temples, when Lord Chaitanya first came, it was like he would have nocturnal kirtans in Srinivas Thakur's house, and it was only on the request of Advaita Acharya did they go public. They leave them out, and then they went out and then took the holy name, and then went to every town and village, and then went spreading Krishna consciousness. That's what he did. Christ did the same. He didn't build churches, he didn't have any churches. So these great preachers and teachers, and when they come, they go out to the masses. Because before Lord Chaitanya, there was more, spiritual life was more an individual thing, where you go off and meditate, and it wasn't for the masses. It was Lord Chaitanya then took it out to the Sankirtan movement, took out to the masses. And that's what he's come to distribute, because when he came down as when he was used Krishna, because Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He's not an avatar, or we say an incarnation. He is Krishna. He's not different. He's Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in the CC, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the 3rd and 4th chapters, Kaviraj Goswami gives us an insight into Krishna's mind. That's how we know God is thinking. We know what we're thinking after that, probably, but to speak of what Krishna's mind is. But that's what these advanced devotees, these pure devotees, because they're in touch. They're, as I say, they're with one. Christ, I am the Father of one. Doesn't mean it means a oneness in purpose or oneness in love. You kind of understand how to love. You know what that person wants. You know it. They don't have to even speak it. So they're so finely tuned, so spiritually aware. And this is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he says that when Krishna descended, when he came down 5,000 years ago, he brought with him the storehouse of love of God. And he kind of was giving it out, but he was more, you had to qualify yourself. That's what Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He says, surrender everything, and then you can experience this love of God through Krishna's qualities, through his attributes, through his kindness, through his compassion, but you had to be an intimate associate of Krishna to understand that, and to experience that. Krishna didn't give it freely, you have to qualify yourself. That's what he says, if you surrender to me, then I'll give it. I'll give you. But when he returned, when he went back to the spiritual world, Kaviraj Goswami says he was thinking. Goswami said he has this foresight, insight into what Krishna was thinking. And he was thinking that he felt a little dissatisfied. If you read the 3rd and 4th chapters of this Chaitanya Charitamrita, it goes into depth. We can't get into too much. But he says he wanted to experience his internal reason that he was seeing that Srimati Radharani, this is why he came, was experiencing far more happiness than he was experiencing. And he was trying to figure it out. He was saying, hang on, I'm God. I'm the source of everything. Everything comes from me. She's experiencing more happiness than me. So he was starting to, how is this possible? So if you read in the CC, then he descended to experience her happiness, yet to come as himself, as Srimati Radharani, or the mood. Because you can't experience what someone else is thinking about you. We have that saying in English, put yourself in my shoes, to understand, we call it empathy. You have to really understand, we say, put yourself in my shoes, and then you can experience, or you can feel what I'm feeling. So to experience the happiness and the love and the ecstasy that she was feeling through the love that she was experiencing from Krishna, that's what Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, but he had to take on the mood. He had to be in the mood of Srimati Radharani to experience it. Otherwise, you couldn't experience. You can't experience what someone else is thinking for you, and no one can experience what you were thinking. So that's what you've got to think about. We're not going to get into too much, but that's one of the internal reasons, and the external reason was to kind of distribute this love of God, just distribute. And there's, in the earlier on in the CC, it says, I've come to make the world, the whole universe dance through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So that's what the Lord Chaitanya has come to give, and the Pancha Tattva, they've come with it. So, but they are distributing it freely. So when Krishna came down, he performed his pastimes so that we would get attracted. That's what Krishna comes down. That's why we perform. Otherwise, how do we know what Krishna's doing? Why would we want to go back to the spiritual world? Why would we want to do that if we don't know nothing about it? So they're doing it. Thank you. So Lord Chaitanya, he came to give this freely, whereas previously you ought to be an intimate associate of Krishna to experience. But so it's like a theatre, like a drama. So if you're watching a drama on the stage, everyone's watching or reading, and Krishna's enacting his pastimes. So he's enacting his pastimes, and everybody's watching, and there's only a few intimate associates who actually get on the stage and enact his pastimes with him. But when Lord Chaitanya, when he came, he says, so because when Krishna went back, then he locked up this storehouse of love of God, and all the attributes that go with it, everything in it, it was locked up, and then they went back. But it says that Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, as good, then broke open, and the Pancha Tattva broke open the storehouse of love of God. And they distribute this contents freely. So then, in other words, what Lord Chaitanya is, not only is he on the stage now performing his pastimes, he's inviting everyone on. He's saying, everybody come and join, come and chant. No qualification. Because previously, you have to be qualified through, you have to have a particular birth, a particular qualification, a particular education. But Lord Chaitanya, forget all that. Everybody just chant and experience this love of God, Krishna Prema, through the chanting. And that's what Lord Chaitanya, this is what the Pancha Tattva comes to give. So they open this doors of love of God, and that's what the power of the chanting of the holy name. It contains Krishna Prema in with it, because Abhinatvam Nama Namino, Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Krishna and his name is no different. Just like Lord Chaitanya has appeared, he's appeared here as his deity form. It's no different from Krishna. It's no different from Lord Chaitanya, it's no different from the Pancha Tattva. Now, what's in your heart will depend upon what you see on the altar. Because you have to have the eyes to see, you have to have the eyes. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanana. The eyes have to be anointed with the salve of love of God. Because you have to see with love. So depending on how much love is depending on what you're going to see. Some might see just whatever the deity form is, whatever it is, marble, wood, whatever it is made of. That's what you'll see. That's what you think. Because you see with your consciousness. Because that's what you'll see with, but that's what by chanting Hare Krishna, you purify in your consciousness, you're awakening that love, and that's how you can see Krishna. That's how you can see him in his deity form, and you can see him, you can experience him through the holy name, and that's where we first, so with the living entity chanting, this is where we first meet Krishna. This is where God meets the living entity of the soul, is in the holy name. When you first start chanting, that's where we connect, that's yoga. You connect to Krishna, you're connecting to God through the name, and that's through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Before Lord Chaitanya, the holy name has always been around. It's Krishna, he's been eternal, it's been here through all the different yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. And it says even though Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, it has one special dispensation in this age, you get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Nija Shakti, he's invested all his potencies in the holy name. That's why the holy name is so potent. Because that's one of the reasons Lord Chaitanya felt dissatisfied, because Krishna felt dissatisfied because he'd come, performed his pastimes, but still people wasn't getting, the living entities wasn't getting it. Still wasn't following and understanding why he came. So that's why he came as Lord Chaitanya, to distribute freely to everyone, anyone who wants to take it. So that's what the Lord, this is what the, so they, not only do they break open this storehouse of love of God, and the more you distribute it, the more it increases. This is spiritual dynamic. So like if you've got a storehouse, I mean, if you're storing something up in your storehouse, whatever you're storing in your storehouse, but if you're taking things out, you're depleting your stock. That's what happens, that's how it is. But spiritual dynamic, the more you take out, the more it'll increase. The more you take from it, the more it'll increase. So that also happens in our spiritual life, in our individual life. The more you give, the more you grow, the more you get. Because it's a spiritual dynamic, you don't deplete. It'll just increase, and it'll increase, and increase. So this is what the Pancha Tattva, so they broke open. So not only did they break open the storehouse of love of God, they were distributing it, and the dynamic was it'll increase. So there's more he was giving out through the potency of the holy name. So because it's not different from Krishna, it's a Kalpavriksha. It'll give you whatever you want. So Kalpavriksha trees, these are not. We get this. I guess what we have equivalent in is Christmas tree, but everything we want is under our Christmas tree, right? That's what we kind of. But the Kalpavriksha trees in the spiritual world, they give you whatever you want, whatever you desire. So the storehouse of love of God is like that. The holy name is like that. Whatever you desire. Of course, that's what Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada taught us what we should want, and that we don't want anything material. Because ultimately that's not for our benefit. What we should want is love of God, Krishna Prema, because that's for our ultimate benefit. Anything material we have to leave behind. So what's the point? What's the point of going to Krishna and asking, Baba always gives the example, what's the point of going to a rich man? Who's the richest man in the world at the minute? Whatever he is. Musk, is it? He's back in the room, it's great. Okay. It's like going to him and asking him, it was 10 bob or a pound or whatever it is. So it's just silk chains and pens. Yeah. But it's like, are you asking for $1 billion? The guy's a multi-billionaire. Why are you asking him for a couple of bucks? Why? Why are you doing that? What's the point? So to go to God and ask him to give you some material things, I want wealth or I want health, it's like asking just for a few shillings. Go to God and ask for what God can give us, or what Krishna can give. He can give you love. Krishna Prema, which is which is never lost. which is our eternal benefit. So this is not only we chant, you have to chant in a particular mood, and this is what Lord Chaitanya come to teach. So, because it's not from, this holy name is not from this material world. Harinam Sankirtan. What's it called? Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. This holy name was descended, it's come from the spiritual world. This is where this come from. Like we sometimes say, so where are you from? Bristol. Oh, okay, we know we got him mad, and we know where he's from. What we do, everyone else asks their name, oh, where are you from? We all do it, doesn't measure people up there, we always do it, wherever we go, oh, where are you from? Oh yeah, I know. So where's the holy name come from? It comes from the spiritual world. It's Krishna himself, it's non-different. Binatva Namanam, you know, the name and the name the one. It's not two things. That's when you chant properly, when you chant with attention, when you chant calling. That's what it's meant to do when you chant, you're meant to call. It's a supplication purpose that you call. When you're calling, you're asking for something. You should be asking. And Prabhupada gave us a very simple explanation when asked what the matter. Oh Lord, please engage me in your service. Please engage me in your service. That's what we should be calling for when we're chanting. We should be calling to engage and asking God, Krishna, to engage us in His service. That's what the simple definition. That's what we should be doing. Because then that's Lord Chaitanya's mood, because it's perfect. There's perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Okay, because it's on the spiritual platform. It's all perfect, but still there's an hierarchy. Perfect, more perfect, most perfect. So it's perfect to chant japa. Everybody chant. That's what we use. You chant individually. That's japa. That's perfect. More perfect is when we chant like this. We chant together. We all come together. We congregational chant it. And you chant the holy name, and it's powerful. And it's powerful. It's more powerful. The potency increases. Okay, so that's more perfect. You know, that's like when you do anything else. You go and make a protest outside, town hall or something for congestion charge or whatever it is, park or whatever it is. And if it's just one person shouting out, they say, "Oh, just close the window, don't get drunk." But if you have a mass, if you have a few thousand, they'll take note. You can have an effect. So the more effect is the more you chant when we congregate, it's more powerful. It's more powerful. There's more of effect. So there's it's perfect. What is it? More perfect. I'm just checking if everyone wants to wait. Or wake me up. And most perfect. And most perfect is when you take the holy name out into the street and give to others. When you go out and give to others, that's the mode of Lord Chaitanya. That's how you fast track. That's how you really accelerate. If you want to accelerate your advancement on the spiritual path, you take the holy name and give out to others through distribution, Harinam, Prasadam distribution, whatever you meet. Everyone's got to just tell them about Krishna. You do that, that's the mood of Lord Chaitanya. It's coming to give, to expand the mission. Otherwise, we were talking about this in class yesterday. In business, if you don't expand, you contract. So you've got to keep on expanding, otherwise you contract. They say that in business, 3 shows, be looking to push pushing the envelope out, as they say, coming out of the comfort zone and expand the business. Otherwise, business fail. They start to hit roadblocks and they contract, and then they go. So in our individual, we have to be chanting. We have to chant every day. That's called sadhana. That's our practice. Is you chanting, you read it, and then that's expanding your own consciousness. But then there's a mission, and then we connect into the mission with it, giving it to others and expanding and providing a facility so that others can come to Krishna consciousness. That's how we expand, and that's Lord Chaitanya, that's what he was doing. That's his movement, he was giving that. And it's healthy. Lord Chaitanya's movement will expand. If we don't do that, then there's a chance that you can kind of, and you see that Christianity and things, especially in this secular age, you see even in Gaudiya Vaishnava, the Gaudiya, they stopped after Bhakti Siddhanta left. They were too busy fighting over the marble and where they stay, over the mats, what mats they have, and what temples are you on, and who's the acharya, and who's this and who's that. And then they lost that expanding, and that's when they just kind of then you contract. And they didn't follow what BHAKTafilms says. So going out, chanting and serving in the mode of service. That's what chanting and doing, serving the devotees, serving Vaishnavas. And that's why that's why Lord Chaitanya is considered more merciful than Krishna, because he's in that mood, he's giving it, no qualification. That's why he's called the most munificent incarnation, even more merciful than Krishna, because he put no stipulation, just chant. So all you have to do, just chant. And everything evolves, everything comes from the chanting. There's so much potency. We were saying this yesterday in class with listening. Prabhupada was speaking to these early devotees, the early Western devotees, and they were kind of just, most of them were all ex-hippies and acid heads, and what they call them, beatniks, and this and that, and they were all just entering after the acid explosion and the drug explosion of the 60s and the 70s. And he said, and the mission, Prabhupada's mission, Lord Chaitanya's mission was expanding. I can't remember how the conversation started, but Prabhupada said this moment is all what you were achieving, because all these devotees were achieving so much, they were sold up to Prabhupada, they were serving Prabhupada. With love, with faith, and in faith in the holy name. And he said, everything that you were achieving is through the holy name. He says, because your ability to do anything is practically been, he said, the brain's damaged through all the drugs and everything, because you've damaged your brain cells, and this life practically can't do much. And he said, it's through the potency. They said, this Prabhupada said something like, you shouldn't say the intelligence. He said, well, can we get our intelligence back? Because we're now chanting. And Prabhupada said, no. So they went, oh. But he said, no, just make the best use of a bad bargain. Whatever you got left, just use it for Krishna. And we're like, the holy name. And that's what the point he was making. It was through the potency of the holy name, the sincerity of the devotees who were trying to please Srila Prabhupada, pleasing Lord Chaitanya. That's how the movement spread so like wildfire. Because of the pure devotees' desire. Because Prabhupada desired it, because it was Lord Chaitanya's desire. It's Lord, that's even Prabhupada says, no, this is coming, this is in the Bible. It's the desire of the Lord. And the pure devotee only has that, the desire of the Lord in his mind, and that's what he just tries to do. So you have the potency of the Lord. So when you chant like that, the holy name, it's all the potency of Krishna himself. And he said that's through the holy name. And still is expanding, so that's what Lord Chaitanya came to give. And that's what I'm saying, so Lord Chaitanya was even, because Krishna was strict, even Lord Chaitanya, because he was a sannyas, and because of the culture at the time, he was strict. He would have his female disciples, they had to pay obeisances like 100 meters away, so he wouldn't come. But that's why Srila Prabhupada is even more, you could say even more, the devotee is more, it says, more merciful than even Lord Chaitanya, because Srila Prabhupada was innovative. When he'd come to the West and he took a lot of criticism, he had men and women, brahmachari ashrams and brahmacharini ashrams in the same building. That was unheard of in India. We wouldn't do that. But he was innovative. He could see, because he's an acharya, he can do that. That's what acharyas can do. We can't make it. Make our own way. Well, it suits me. You don't compromise principles. Principles you don't change, just details. Details change. Because they asked Prabhupada, why did he do that? He said, I can, but I could see how hopelessly attached his disciples were. Because he tried to split them up first of all, because it just wasn't working. So he said, okay, get married, like that. That's what, because of West, we have culture that it's just like, if it feels good, we'll do it. And that's Western culture. But in the city you're talking, this is thousands of years old culture with us. So, but Lord Prabhupada, the essence was to get it to chant Hare Krishna. That's the important thing, whatever it took to do that. So he introduced so many things that previously was unheard of. Because he was innovative, but he never compromised the principle, he never compromised principles. And that's why purity is a force, that's why Prabhupada was so potent. He never changed. He never changed the goalposts. He was always for Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. Okay. So this is what so Lord Chaitanya appeared here 20 years ago. We're still trying to be in that mood of going out and giving Krishna consciousness. And that's, if you want to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, that's the surest. It's not that you have to be frontline preachers, but everything, even in the war, there's so much backup. They still have so much backup and supporting the troops that go out onto the front lines and the armies that fight. So there's so much everyone can do. So much everyone can do. In support of those who have got the time, got the facilities, and in that circumstances we can, and you plug into them, you get the same benefit. You'll have the same benefit. There's so much prasad, and what is it, an army moves on its stomach, they don't go to fight unless they go, that's sort of all these supplies and all the logistics of getting to support and make the army go forward. So in Krishna consciousness is like that. We're trying to expand. We need help. We're Lord Chaitanya's enemy. That's what the Prabhupada always used. It's discipline. Yoga means discipline. Doesn't mean I'll do it if I feel like it. I won't. That's not yoga. That's the central part of all yoga is controlling the mind. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. You have to control the mind. Otherwise, it's the worst enemy. The mind out of control is the enemy. The mind in control, be the friend. Because then it's the same mind that takes you away from Krishna consciousness can take you to Krishna. But you've got to control it and then direct it. So we're not just about controlling the mind. We're not just controlling the enemy, putting the enemy in a cage and then locking it and just making sure he's locked and can't let him out and like this. No, that's not what we do. By controlling them, then with the mind becomes attracted to Krishna. And it's through that attraction that we become detached. Not to just controlling the mind. That's not what. Yeah, we need to control the mind, but then that's not what we're about. Just controlling the mind and then sitting there and doing what? No, then we directed the mind to engage in Krishna's service, to serve Krishna, to serve his mission, giving Krishna consciousness to others. That's how the mind becomes a friend. Then the mind becomes a friend. So you're not just controlling it, then you're just controlling the enemy. It's hard work. Because it's like, oh God, you're taking all this effort just to keep it under control. Because it's trying to break out. The enemy will turn you back, and the first chance you'll get, you'll escape. So when you are in the same mind as them, attracted to Krishna, and that comes by serving Krishna. Chaitya Dharpana Marjana. Through the chanting, through serving, the heart becomes purified, and all these desires, lust, anger, greed, will then start to go away. Then the mind will become attracted. Then it becomes the friend. It's the same mind, when out of control, but when brought into control, it becomes the friend.